Hello everyone. So this video is about MSI B660M motor running an i5 12500, and this is a very golden sample. It's the best one that I ever tested. It is taking not only the MSI LITE LOAD at 1, which is like every i5 that I tested takes that, but also a minus 50 millivolt undervolt. So this is pulling like 58 watts maximum. It's running at 40 degrees maximum, doing Geekbench 5. This is like the second run of Geekbench 5 because the previous one failed because of failing on internet. So yeah, this is like a very best case scenario for this CPU. Some CPU might even require like a slightly positive offset to actually run this the full speed because of the Alder Lake clock stretching issue that I demonstrated in a lot of previous videos. And so while I show you this golden sample in action, just to show you how low those CPUs can go and how high you can get the scores, because it's also getting like very nice scores. It's not like the undervolt makes a huge difference, but it gets a slight boost in multi-threaded workload as you go down the voltage until you find the clock stretching limit, which I still didn't find out how that works, but yeah, it just works that way. So let's go to some other points while we wait for the benchmarks to finish. So the first one is I always go with MSI boards whenever I don't need Thunderbolt. Oh, here it is. Here's our score. So if you look for the i5 average scores for the i5 12500 on Geekbench, you will find much lower score, like 1600 and 8000 on a multicore, which is probably the result of people testing the CPU with a with board that have a clock stretching issue that are not providing enough voltage to the CPU. So now we're gonna run Cinebench R23. I'm not gonna do that with a high priority, so I can show you the power. So the score might be slightly lower than the 12,780 that I was able to get on the sample, which is the highest I ever got for 12,500. And so it's pulling 69 watts. And the temperature is sitting at like 41 degrees with the stock cooler barely making any noise. Please take note that the fan up there is not running. I just turn it on, the light, the LEDs to show you some fancy lights, and it will show run when the system is shipped to the client. But I like to stress test my system with a worst case scenario. So MSI gets like this huge win with Alder Lake, and as I wanted to discuss this point of the 12600K and the 13400 and 3500, I think, which will be like 6 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, just like the 12600K. And I really hate those CPUs. I don't think they make any sense, because if you're going for multi-core performance, just having 4 E-cores is not, that doesn't do anything. And you get a larger die, so you get like a higher power consumption at idles especially, and I'm pretty sure that the efficiency loss by having the larger die and having like the bigger, the longer ring will actually offset any efficiency gain that those 4 cores. I mean, the 4 cores are gonna help with the multitasking scenarios, but not by far. And if you do anything like multi-threaded, you shouldn't get this kind of CPU. You should get a 12700F, maybe 12700, 12900, something like that. So let's go. Why I take the 12500, because the 12400 has a much slower GPU, and I like using integrated GPU for most of my audio builds and like office builds. And the 12600 is too power hungry, because those 200 megahertz of power are of frequency are like requiring like 15 watts more, and this is on the worst side for the Intel stock cooler. I mean, not every sample is like that, because if you can find a sample that undervolts well, you can get by with the stock cooler, as demonstrated here. Please keep in mind that I have also some kind of tricks that I do with the stock cooler to make it perform much better. Oh, in the meanwhile, here's the R23 score for the CPU, again at 69 watts and 42 degrees. Yeah, that's incredibly impressive. And so yeah, back to the 12600 is just very inefficient in what it does. If you can find it like for a very good price, similar to the 12500, then go for it. Maybe you can even get a aftermarket cooler. I wouldn't do that. Like, not throwing away the stock cooler is one of my goals. I don't like eat waste. I don't like to purchase something if I can make it without it. So again, so skip the 12600K, skip the 13400. You either go for the 12400, 12500, 12600 with all the performance cores to get like the shorter ring, the better latencies, or maybe you can get like a, if you want to go bigger, you should go for the, at least for the 12700. Again, on a MSI board, so you can get a lot of efficiency out of that. You get 8 big cores, you get a larger cache, which will offset, like maybe if you don't want to do much RAM tuning, or again, it's just you have like the biggest cache and the higher clocks will offset the longer ring, and you get more performance, more multi-core performance, and you can also disable the E-cores to get like better compatibility with a lot of software, especially for audio. Or if you really want to go like heavy multi-core, then you get the 13900K and you get all the 24 madness. So one last note, I read about like getting the K CPUs to unlock the vccsa voltage, which could make sense. It depends on the silicon lottery. Like, I had some 12400 they were not able to run more than 5200, which is like the bare minimum for DDR5 kits. Like, they were barely stable at 5200. And this particular sample, which is a good sample, is able to run 5800, which also explains a little bit of the multi-core Geekbench score. You can see that. Yeah, here it is. It's running at 12,900, the 2,900 megahertz memory. These are the timings. There's already some tuning down there. I'm still working on that, but yeah. And so the point is that yeah, you could get unlucky with the 12400 and 12500 and 600. Maybe the 12700 would really get hurt by slow memory if you really want to process a lot of data. Then getting the 12700 and like getting a bad sample could hurt. But the point is I wanted is that DDR5 is extremely temperature sensitive at higher speeds and higher frequency. So yeah, you could run the RAM at like 6000 megahertz with a positive offset on the vccsa, but then you're also gonna get like very hot temperatures, and I'm not sure about the efficiency loss that you would get by running the RAM at such high speed, high voltage to accommodate that speed, and then you have to like find some good cooling for that. Yeah, that's it. I would rather have like slower memory and like a safer operative temperatures and voltages, and save the money on the non-K SQs. Yeah, I guess that's all that I needed to talk about. So here again, that was my golden sample running at 69 watt Cinebench R23, very good score. Oh yeah, I also wanted to actually compare it to, like, yeah, I also did a single core test, and it turned out 17,050, which is like exactly the same as the 13400, which makes sense because the 13400 has the same clocks as the same P cores clock as the 12500. Yeah, that's really all now. Thanks everyone for listening. Ciao.